Hello and welcome back to Record of the Ear. I'm your host Ryan Lark, and this is a podcast all about where I take an album that I've been listening to nonstop all week and is absolutely obsessed with at that moment and just rant about it because frankly none of my friends want to hear it. So I made a podcast because what else are you supposed to do in the 21st century when you have opinions that you can't talk about? This is week 3 of the month-long dedication of May to local Kentucky artists, and I'm very excited for this one because she and they are one of my absolute, honestly, all-time favorite artists. I think she's absolutely incredible. She's got incredible vocals. She's an incredible performer. I've seen her live countless times here in Lexington, and her name and the band's name is Joslyn and the Sweet Compression. The Sweet Compression is the band. Joslyn is the lead singer or lead vocalist. And a little bit of background on them. They were founded by Jocelyn Hampton, the lead vocalist, and her stepfather, actually, Marty Charters, who is the guitar and another guitarist and songwriter as well. The other band members are Steve Holloman on keys and background vocals, Smith Donaldson on bass, Rashawn Fleming on drums, Trevin Little on sax, and Chase Fleming on trombone and trumpet. They're kind of like a soul R&B funk group, and they've headlined music festivals. They've toured across the Midwest and East Coast. And Joslyn, the queen of Kentucky herself, is just an absolute staple here in Lexington. This album is their first debut album, self-titled. It's a soul funk R&B album, and it came out in 2019. I say it's their first album because I actually just went to a concert, her first concert since quarantine, here in Lexington a couple weeks ago, and she announced that they are going to be debuting another album relatively soon, so that is very exciting, and be on the lookout for that. I know I will be. But their self-titled debut album is obviously called Joslyn and the Sweet Compression, and it is 10 tracks long, 38 minutes, and you know I love a sweet and concise album, and this is perfect. It's got 6 singles, Honeybee, Sunday Driver, What Do You Think Was Gonna Happen, If I Break It Down, Somebody Help Me, and Love on the Double. All of the tracks, except for the last track, the last track on the album, that is, were written by the band. I think mostly Jocelyn Marty. Her and her stepfather wrote all of the tracks. That's not true, actually. There's 2 covers. Long, and Changing Times, which is the last track. So, yeah, all except for those 2 songs. So they wrote 8 of the tracks. But it is a wonderful album, and I am so excited to show it to you guys because she's absolutely incredible. I know you guys are going to fall in love with her instantly once you hear her. So, without further ado, let's get into the album. Actually, wait, before you do that, make sure you go ahead and listen to the album beforehand or go track by track with me. I just want to remind you guys again because you won't know what I'm talking about, especially because she's not as well known yet. So you probably won't know the tracks, but go ahead and listen to it first, and I'll get into the tracks now. The first track is called Honeybee and is written by Marty Charters and Joslyn Hampton. And this is, I would say this is their signature song at this point. This is their most recognizable song that anyone who's ever heard her falls in love with immediately. And it's just such a poetic song about, honestly, I'm not entirely sure this is what I think it's about. It's kind of confusing. It's a poetic song about a mother wanting their child to grow up to be all what they want them to be. Or potentially it's about a relationship with a partner and wanting them to be what you want them to be. I really can't tell, which is kind of weird. But I think it's just such a cool song. It's so like groovy and just so like, oh yeah, like you really feel the music. Like I'm probably gonna say this a bunch of times, but she really just like oozes music. Like it just flows out of the band, like especially her vocals. Like when she's singing, the music really just flows from her. It's so effortless and so fun and so easy to listen to. It's truly a delight listening to her, especially in person. On Honeybee, I think I think the writing is absolutely fantastic. I love the phrase "honeybee." I think it is used so smartly. The lyrics are so smart. I think the trombone and sax melody is so fun and so cool. I love when she sings "Come from a Different Time." I just like when she hits those high notes on that phrase. I just love it. It's so good. Love, 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 love this song. I'm gonna give it, as far as songwriting goes, uh, I'm gonna give it a 10, and for recording, I'm gonna give it a 9.5. The second track on the album is called "What Did You Think Was Gonna Happen," which is kind of a little bit of a verbose title, but it is also written by Marty Charters and Joslyn Hampton, and it's about turning down someone who makes advances towards you. And again, this is just like a fun, funky song. It's very, uh, it's not polished, which is not a bad thing. I'm not using that as like a bad negative term. It's like it's not polished in the term that it's like very raw, and when she sings the word "what," it's very sharp and it's very cutting, and I think that lends its song to the lyrics very well because it's very emotional in that way, and it's kind of like, what did you think was going to happen? That's a very emotional phrase in the sense that they're using it. So that cutting word "what" is, it just captures your attention immediately, and you're like, oh wow, this is very raw, and it's not overly produced, it's not overly done, and it sounds so good. I really, really like it. I love the melody here. I don't know, I think it's very good, and I really like the song. I think she sounds absolutely incredible on it. I think the band sounds very good on it. So as far as songwriting goes, I'm gonna give it an 8.5, and for recording, I'm going to give it an 8. The third track on the album is called "If I Break It Down," and it was also written by Marty Chambers and Joslyn Hampton. And it's kind of about not feeling upset after a breakup, which the lyrics of this, I think, are just so important, and I love the message of it. Like, it's a very different take that's not like a heartbreak song about getting broken up with. It's like, oh, we broke up and I'm actually fine. Like, I'm not heartbroken. I'm just like, oh yeah, this is weird. Like, would have expected me to be upset because I thought I was more invested, but I guess I wasn't as invested as I thought. So maybe it's a good thing that we broke up. I think the melody is so fresh and so groovy. I don't think I've ever really heard a song like it, honestly. I think it's so different. Not that I listen to a lot, like a significant amount of soul and R&B and stuff like that, but I just think it's so different and fresh and interesting, and I don't know. I love that the way that she plays with rhythm in this song. It's very good, and I really like it. So as far as songwriting goes, I'm gonna give it an 8.5 as well, and then for recording, I'm going to give it an 8.5 as well. The fourth track on the album is called "Somebody Help Me," and it is again written by Marty and Joslyn. And it is about the loss of someone you love. And this song is so raw, so emotionally, and she just sounds so absolutely beautiful. It's such a deep, beautiful song that is unfortunately very relatable to a lot of people, and I think the way that she plays with dynamic here, you can just tell she feels this song so deeply, and she really takes it and elevates it to that next level. I don't know, I think it's just an absolutely beautiful song that she does such a good job with, and the melody on the guitar, I don't know, I think it just pairs so well with it. It's really a beautiful song. The way it's almost like she's crying as she sings the song, because you can just feel like the groveliness of her voice and the emotion in her tone. Like, you can just really feel it, and it's so different, and again, not overly produced, and it's not all like smoothed out. you can really hear the emotion. I think it's just so beautiful. I know I've said that 100 times, but it's it's really something special. So as far as writing goes, I love it. I love the melody. I love the lyrics. I mean, the lyrics aren't really as they're very poetic in a way, but it's also very much a story and um, almost like a diary, which I think is so beautiful. And for recording, I think she does a phenomenal job. So I'm going to give a 9 for writing and 9.5 for recording. The fifth track is called Sunday Driver and was also written by Marty Charters and Joslyn Hampton. And it's about wanting to find a good lover to give you like that good love, and you know what I mean. And I just think this is such a fun, groovy song. I love this melody so much. I think the composition of this song is just so fantastic. Um, it's just so fun and groovy, and Jocelyn really elevates it, giving it so many fun stylings. You can just tell she's having fun singing it like the entire time. Like it's really incredible. Um, and I don't know why, like I love that there's background vocals on here, but they're just very faint and very far. It sounds like they're very far back, and it just gives it that slight elevation that you would almost miss if you weren't paying attention. Um, I don't know. I think that's very cool because you can usually tell like when there's background singers because they're usually like just behind the vocalist, but they're really these background singers are like kind of specifically put even more faintly, just to give a slight emphasis, which I think is very cool. It really works here. Yeah, I don't know. I just she's definitely having fun with this song. You can tell, and it really sounds good. So as far as songwriting goes, I'm gonna give it I'm gonna give it an 8.5, and for recording, I'm gonna give it a 9. The sixth track is called "It's About a Passion." Again, was written by Marty and Jocelyn, and it's about doing stuff for the person you're in love with and going above and beyond for them, but it ends up not working out between you two, and that's okay because it was about love, not about like material things, you know. Um, and it's just another fun, upbeat song. Love the melody. Great tenor sax solo. I think it sounds so good. And again, really good placement of background singers. I think it's just a fun, groovy song that has a great message. I really love that message. So kudos again. As far as songwriting goes, I'm gonna give it a 7, and for recording, I'm gonna give it a 7.5. The seventh track on the album is a cover of the Beatles song called "Long, Long, Long." Hard to say actually. Song called "Long, Long, Long," and it's technically about the songwriter's love for God, but I take it more as acceptance of one's true self. And I think Jocelyn really elevates the song and makes it so beautiful. It's a slow like ballad version, and she delivers such beautiful vibrato here. Like you really start to hear when she's singing those low notes with that vibrato, like how talented and skillful she is with her voice. She goes way low in her range very frequently, and delivers such like a deep feeling to the track. Because I think what's special is showing how wide her range is and how skilled she is at singing so deeply. Because women often don't sing very deep notes because uh, I don't know, maybe it's not seen as feminine or whatever, but for some reason it's just not seen as much. And I think that really lends here, and she still sounds so beautiful. And singing about this topic, you get those deep notes. You really understand the message and the deep pits of the emotion that they're feeling during the song. So I don't know. I think it's very beautiful. I think she does a very good job with it. I don't I don't love the lyrics. I think the lyrics are a little bit blasé, but I love the melody. I love I don't know if I love the melody. I like the melody because it's a bit simple, but I think she does a very good job with it. I think she's the star of the song, and I don't think the song is especially special. So as far as songwriting goes, I'm gonna give it a 6, and for recording, I'm gonna give it a 7.5. Track 8 is called Love on the Double and was written by Marty Charters and Jocelyn Hampton once again. And it's back up onto that upbeat song and about suddenly finding you're stuck in a love triangle with two people. And you kind of like happen like all of a sudden. You're like, oops, how did this happen? It's again just like such a fun song that makes you like want to dance. It's really groovy and it's really fun. And Jocelyn's having fun with it. You can really tell. Uh, love the melody. I think it's so cool. I think the lyrics are a little bit like, okay, like they work for the song, but as far as the message goes, I mean, it's like, okay, whatever. Uh, it's almost like funny. The lyrics are almost funny. So in that sense, I like them. But as far as the message goes, I'm like, okay, whatever. Uh, so for songwriting, I'm gonna have to give it. I'm gonna give it a 7, and for recording, I mean, she's just grooving with it. She's having fun, and she really elevates it to where you're like really feeling it, or at least feeling some kind of emotion that makes you want to get up and dance. So I'm gonna give it a 7.5. The ninth track on the album is called Serenity, and it's about leaving behind an abusive relationship. It's a really touching, like soulful song. Honestly, probably the most emotional song on the album, in my opinion. Yeah, it's very somber. Obviously, it has to be because of the topic. Um, and she just does such a good job of the timing of everything, and um, really putting certain emphasis and making it emphasized at a certain time to tell a different story with her singing. Um, the only thing I don't love about this song is I feel like the background singers are a little gimmicky. Um, it sounds like a couple people background singing as around halfway through the song when she's hitting some high notes and belting and not even really belting. It's like this like softer belting, like a reserved belting. That's that's very interesting and gives off a somber feel. But the background singers, I don't know why. I just don't love it for some reason. I don't love it. Um, but I think it's a very touching melody. I think the lyrics are. I like the lyrics. As far as recording, I think she does a good job. It's not my favorite song, but I do enjoy it a lot. Um, so as far as songwriting goes, I'm gonna give it a 7.5, and recording, I'm gonna give it a 7. The last track, track 10, is another cover um, of Frankie Beverly and Maze's song called "Changing Times," and this is a ballad all about you and your partner helping each other get through whatever life throws at you and whatever challenges you are currently facing, um, and kind of leaning on each other for that support. Uh, it's 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 not like a slow ballad. It's kind of a I'd say it's like medium to medium low tempo uh about there, and I think it's a very sweet song. Um I think she writes better, or they write better songs, honestly. I think it's an interesting song that fits with the album, but I think that I prefer a lot of her songs to this. Um, I think she sounds good on it. For some reason, I feel like this song isn't as elevated as the others. I don't know why. Which again, as I said the other week, is sad because you don't want to end on a mad note. Uh, I don't know. I really like her version of the song. I've only ever heard the original version after I had heard hers, but I don't know. I don't know. It's okay. The melody's sweet. The lyrics are sweet. She sounds very good on it. Uh, she's got a couple interesting stylistic choices that she puts throughout the song, but I don't know if she's I don't know. I don't know if I can't tell she's having as much fun with this song as the others. You know what I mean? So, for that reason, I'm gonna have to dock it down a little bit as far as for recording and songwriting. I'm just not thrilled with it. Um, I'm gonna give it a 6 for writing, and for recording, I'm gonna give it a 6 as well. Yeah, I don't know. It's the only part I really like is actually the keys, where it's like that organ sound. Uh, I don't know. That's like the only part that I'm really like, oh, that was really cool. But other than that, yeah, I don't know. Just didn't do it for me. But oh well. All right. So looking at the overall cohesive unit of the album, this is a self-titled album, so I'm going to be basing it off of what exactly is this album telling me about them? Because if you're gonna name an album after yourself, this it's got to be you. This has to be the essence of your group, and tell us a lot about you. And I think overall it succeeds fairly well at doing that. Um, you've got first off the musicality of it. Um, you've got a lot of not overly produced sounds, which means that she's obviously very talented. And they're a very talented group. They like kind of an edgier sound. Uh, she's got great range displayed throughout the album. Or I keep saying she. When I say she, I mean the group, because it's not just her. Um, but she's got they have a great range throughout the album as far as sounds and kinds of songs. It's not just one type of sound all like continuously throughout the album. It's a lot of different things. They're obviously very versatile, and are able to do a lot of different things. They feature different instruments at different times, so obviously they're talented in that way as well. And it always works with the song and with the music and the lyrics all fitting together as a cohesive unit. And messaging, I think messaging here, I mean, you can clearly see they've got two covers in there, which I think is the perfect amount if you're going to include any covers. You don't want too many, otherwise you kind of like lose who you are in that album. Um, so you got two covers: the Beatles, "Long, Long, Long," and "Changing Times," Frankie Beverly and Mays. Um, so you can kind of see their inspiration, their influences, which is really cool, and see their takes on their inspirations. Um, and I think that's really cool. The messaging, there's all great messages in these tracks. I mean, maybe not "Love on the Double." I don't know if I love that that messaging, but um, I mean, I think everything else is very very cool, very relatable, very positive messaging, um, and important messages, and delivering it in a way that is very effective and beautiful. Um, it's definitely a very groovy album with some highs and lows, not talent wise, but emotional highs and lows, which is very cool. As far as track placement, I'm I like "Changing Times" being ending with "Changing Times." I think that's a cool message to uh, end the album on, about helping each other out through a difficult time. I think starting with "Honeybee" is very smart. It's their signature song. Start with a high note, so to speak. I don't know. I don't know about the rest though. I really don't understand the placement here. I think it features going as far as the flow of the album, not messaging wise, but maybe tempo and feels. It changes it up as you go through it, so maybe that's why they did it, and it makes sense a little more that way. But I don't know. I don't really know why they would put one over another in the listing, but yeah, I don't know. I think overall you know who they are, you know what they're about, their styles, their abilities. Um, yeah, and I'm excited to see more, honestly. Uh, so as far as the overall cohesive unit of the album, I'm gonna give it out of 10. I'm gonna give it a 7. No, I think it deserves a little bit higher. I'm gonna give it a 7.5. All right, so averaging out all the scores, the average for songwriting comes out to 7.8, and recording comes out to 8.1, and adding those up with the 7.5 for the overall score, you get 23.4, which is a fairly high score, honestly, but does not ultimately beat out the current reigning record of the year, Crimes of Passion by Pat Benatar. I think it's just under Little Girls Acting Like Men by the local Honeys. But it is very close, and it is a very high score, and I absolutely love and adore this album so much. I adore Joslyn and The Sweet Compression so much. They are such an incredible band, such incredible performers. I do encourage you to go ahead and listen to the album, and further, buy the album off of their website. Just Google Joslyn Sweet Compression. It's probably the first thing that pops up is their website. They've got wonderful merch that you can buy. They've got the album on record and CD that you can purchase for physical copies, or if you don't have money, just stream the album. But as always, I encourage you to purchase things because streaming donates literally like no money to the artist, unfortunately. But it's better than nothing, so whatever you can do is great. But yeah, I'm excited. I've got 1 or 2 more weeks left of the month for this All Kentucky month dedicated to local artists in Kentucky. And if you don't like these episodes, then I guess you don't have to wait that much longer until it's over. So, but I've been really enjoying it and listening to some cool artists that are not quite to the level of fame as the people I normally do. So hopefully you're enjoying it. If not, oh well. Like I said, it'll be back to normal soon. I'm excited for next week. I think you guys are really going to like her and maybe even have heard of her, honestly. So that'll be really good. But until then, I hope you guys have a good rest of your week. Actually, so I don't know why I'm cutting off so early. I want to encourage you guys to go ahead and follow all of the artists all the local Kentucky artists I've mentioned on Instagram, Beth Bird and the local Honeys and Joslyn and the Sweet Compression. They all have Instagrams and Facebook pages, and I'm sure Twitters as well. But I always just encourage people to follow them on Instagram just so to see what they're doing. If you ever have a chance to go see them on tour, please do. They're all wonderful performers. Though I've never seen the local Honeys, but I've heard from other people that they're fantastic. Also, follow me on Instagram at Record of the Year Podcast. That's year without the Y. Yeah, just go ahead and follow me there. Feel free to leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. That helps me out a lot. Please do. Those really help me out. So I don't have very many. I think I only have literally 2 reviews. So I know I don't have that many listeners, but if you are one of my 1 listeners, 2 listeners, however many listeners I have, I don't even know. Please go ahead and just leave me a review. It would mean the world to me. And it'd just be like a nice thank you for all the work that I do putting into this podcast. So that would be really wonderful. I'd really appreciate it. So feel free to message me on Instagram if you have any comments or concerns or questions about the albums, the artists that I've done in the past, or you have any recommendations for future artists. I'm always willing to take that into consideration. So please just let me know. And until then, I will see you guys next week. Bye.